My teacher pulled up my conversation with my brother and made inappropriate remarks about our relationship. I sent her an email requesting that she doesn't do it again, and she smelled disrespect. I don't even know how to start this because it still feels like something out of a nightmare. One second, I was just sitting in class, minding my own business, and the next, my teacher had my private messages with my brother up on the projector for the entire class to see. Yes, my personal conversation between me and my own brother. At first, I thought maybe it was some kind of mistake, like she accidentally clicked the wrong file or some weird tech glitch had pulled up my stuff. But no, she scrolled, she read the messages out loud, and then she laughed. And that's when it turned sick. She made a comment, something twisted, inappropriate, about the way I was too close with my brother. She said it with this smirk, like it was a joke everyone else was supposed to get. The whole class went quiet. Some kids stared at me, a few even laughed nervously. My face burned so hot, I thought I might pass out. My stomach knotted. I wanted to scream, but I just froze. And then she leaned in closer to the screen, squinted at another line, and said something even worse. That's when I knew this wasn't an accident. But before I could even react, the bell rang. The class ended. Everyone shuffled out, whispering, leaving me sitting there in shock. I couldn't move, couldn't think, couldn't breathe. And I had no idea how she even got my messages in the first place. To explain how we got here, I need to back up a little. For context, I'm in my last year of high school. My brother is just a year older than me, in college nearby, and we're really close. We've always been that way. We talk a lot, texts, calls, dumb memes, late night rants. He's my best friend, honestly. But recently, I noticed something odd. My teacher, let's call her Miss K, started making little comments that felt strange. At first, they were small. Stuff like, "You're always smiling at your phone in class. Must be someone special." I'd just laugh it off. Teenagers get teased like that all the time. But then she started saying things specifically about my brother. She somehow knew we talked a lot. Once, when I mentioned he was visiting for lunch, she said, "Oh, I bet you're excited about that." The way she said excited made me uncomfortable. Still, I brushed it off. Teachers can be awkward. Maybe she just didn't realize how it sounded. But things escalated fast. One day, I came into class late, and she said, "Overslept because you were up chatting with your brother again." Everyone laughed. My stomach dropped. How did she even know I'd been talking to him late the night before? My phone never left my bag during school. It felt off, but I convinced myself I was being paranoid. Until the day she pulled up our conversation. That afternoon after class, I couldn't stop shaking. My friends asked if I was okay, but I couldn't even explain. I went home, sat on my bed, and stared at my phone. Was she somehow spying on me? Did she have access to my accounts? Or was this some elaborate prank with someone else's help? I scrolled back through the conversation she'd shown me, and my blood ran cold. It was word for word the same chat I'd had with my brother the night before. Nothing major, just us venting about stress, joking around, but still, private, still ours. That's when the fear turned to anger. So I did something I thought was polite, but firm. I wrote Miss K an email. I told her that what she did was inappropriate, that my messages with my brother are private, that I don't know how she accessed them, but I do not want her pulling them up in class again. I kept it respectful, no insults, just clear. I hit send, and almost instantly I regretted it, because the reply she sent back made my stomach drop even lower. She accused me of being disrespectful. She said I was out of line for questioning her judgment, and then she hinted in this chilling, vague way that she could make things very difficult for me if I didn't watch my tone. That was the moment I realized this wasn't just about a teacher being awkward. This was about power, and she was warning me. That night, I barely slept. My mind kept spinning in circles. Was she bluffing? Was she serious? Could she actually ruin things for me? And the worst question of all, if she had my messages with my brother, what else did she have? The next morning at school, I felt like every step I took was heavier than the last. It was like everyone's eyes were on me, even if they weren't. I kept replaying Miss K's email in my head, the way she twisted things, the way she tried to make me feel guilty, like I had done something wrong. I kept asking myself, what if she actually can ruin things for me? She's the kind of teacher who has connections, who's always talking about how she knows principals, coaches, even admissions officers at colleges. What if she really could mess up my future just because I sent her that email? Still, I tried to keep my head down. My plan was simple. Avoid her, don't stir things up more, and maybe it would blow over. For the first part of the day, that worked. Nothing happened. My other teachers acted normal. I started to convince myself maybe I had overreacted. Maybe she was just trying to scare me, and she'd let it drop. But then I walked into her classroom. The way she looked at me made my skin crawl. She didn't say anything at first, but her eyes followed me the entire walk to my desk, like she was daring me to speak up. And then right before class started, she smiled. "Oh, P," using my actual name, of course, "did you get my email last night?" The whole class turned toward me. My stomach flipped. "Yes," I whispered. "Good," she said, her voice light but sharp underneath. I trust we won't be having any more understandings." She let the word hang there, heavy. A few students exchanged looks, confused. I just nodded, feeling smaller by the second. After class, my best friend pulled me aside. She could tell something was wrong. I wanted to tell her everything, about the messages, about the comments, about the email, but the words stuck in my throat. I finally just muttered, "She's messing with me." My friend frowned. "What do you mean, messing with you?" But I couldn't explain. Not yet. I wasn't ready for someone else to know the full story. So I just shook my head and said, "Forget it." That was the low point of the day. Feeling like I had no one to trust, like I was carrying this huge, heavy secret that would crush me if I held it too long. But things didn't stay quiet for long. That evening, when I got home to work on homework, my hands froze on the keyboard. There was a new folder sitting on my desktop. I hadn't put it there. It was labeled with my name. I clicked it open, heart pounding. Inside were screenshots, not just of my messages with my brother, but of conversations with my friends, my notes, and even half-finished essay drafts I'd never sent anywhere. Private things no one should have. And at the very bottom of the folder, there was a single text file. I opened it with shaking hands. It said, "Respect goes both ways. Don't forget that." My stomach dropped. My hands went cold. She hadn't just gotten into my brother's chat. She had access to everything. I just sat there staring at the screen, my mouth dry, my chest tight. The folder with my name on it felt like proof I couldn't deny anymore. Ms. K had gone way beyond anything I could have imagined. It wasn't just a slip. It wasn't just her being creepy with my brother's texts. She had been in my laptop, in my files. And the scariest part? I didn't know how. Was she hacking me? Did she have some kind of access through the school's system? Or had she physically gotten on my laptop when I wasn't looking? No matter how I turned it over in my head, none of it made sense. I slammed the laptop shut. My whole body was shaking. I thought about running downstairs and telling my parents everything, but the words caught in my throat again. If I told them, what would happen? Would they even believe me? Or would they just think I was exaggerating, stressed out from senior year? So instead, I sat in my room, staring at the closed laptop, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might break my ribs. That was the low. The silence. The helplessness. The next day at school, I tried to act normal. My friend kept asking what was wrong, but I brushed it off. I couldn't risk more people knowing. What if Miss K found out I was talking? What if she decided to punish me harder? And yet, all through the day, I could feel her watching me. When she passed me in the hall, her eyes locked on mine for a second too long. When I walked into her class, she gave me this knowing smile that made my skin crawl. She didn't even need to say anything anymore. I already knew. She wanted me scared. And it was working. That night, I opened my laptop again, too anxious not to check. The folder was still there, but now something else had been added. A new screenshot. This one wasn't of a text with my brother. It wasn't of my essays or notes. It was a photo. A photo of me, in my room, at my desk, wearing the exact clothes I had on yesterday. The blood trained from my face, my vision blurred for a second. I actually pushed my chair back and looked around my room, convinced she must be hiding somewhere. My hands clawed at the edges of my desk, my breath coming in sharp gasps. How? How did she have a picture of me? I grabbed my phone and called my brother, my hands trembling so badly I almost dropped it. He answered on the second ring, his voice calm and casual. "Hey, what's up?" But I couldn't even form the words. I just whispered, "She's watching me." "What? Who?" "Miss K. She has a photo of me in my room on my laptop. I swear to God, it's here." My brother went silent for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was sharp. "Lock your door. Right now. I'm coming over." I stumbled across the room, locked the door, then sat on my bed, hugging my knees to my chest, staring at the laptop like it was a bomb. Every second until he arrived felt like an hour. When my brother finally got there, he didn't waste time. He demanded to see the laptop. I opened it, pulled up the folder, and showed him the photo. His face went pale. This isn't okay," he muttered. "This isn't just some creepy teacher stuff anymore. I don't even know what this is, but it's bad, really bad." Hearing him say it out loud made it all sink in deeper. This wasn't in my head. This wasn't paranoia. It was real. But before either of us could figure out what to do next, the screen flickered. The folder closed on its own. Then, right in front of us, a new file popped up. Another text document. We stared at it, frozen, as the title appeared. "Brothers shouldn't keep secrets." My brother and I sat frozen, staring at the words glowing on the screen. Brothers shouldn't keep secrets. I could hear his breathing get faster, sharper. He slammed the laptop shut so hard I thought the screen might crack. "Okay," he said, his voice tight. "This isn't just some creepy teacher messing around. I don't even know what this is, but it's bad, really bad." I felt tears burning behind my eyes, but I forced them back. "What do we do?" I whispered. He rubbed his face with both hands. "We have to tell Mom and Dad. We don't have a choice anymore. The thought of it made my stomach twist. I imagined their faces, the disbelief, the questions I couldn't answer. How do you even explain something like this without sounding crazy? But my brother was right. We couldn't stay silent anymore. That was the low point. Sitting at the kitchen table, my parents across from us, trying to explain everything while my voice shook. At first, they just stared. My mom kept frowning like she didn't understand. My dad leaned back in his chair, arms crossed. When I told them Miss K had pulled up my messages with my brother in front of the whole class, my mom gasped. But when I told them about the folder on my laptop, about the screenshots, about the photo of me in my room, that's when they both went pale. My dad's jaw tightened. He showed me. I didn't want to, but I opened the laptop again. The folder was still there, sitting on the desktop like it was mocking me. I clicked it open, showed them the files. My mom covered her mouth with her hand. My dad swore under his breath. Jesus, he muttered. This is insane. I waited for them to promise they'd fix it, to say they'd go straight to the school, to the police, to someone who could help. But instead, my dad closed the laptop carefully and pushed it back toward me. We can't jump to conclusions, he said. His voice was calm, but too calm, like he was holding something back. Maybe this is some kind of virus. Some hacker messing with kids. We'll figure it out. The pit in my stomach grew deeper. He didn't believe me. Or worse, he didn't want to believe me. For the next 2 days, everything in the house was tense. My parents kept whispering behind closed doors. My brother was furious, saying we needed to go to the police ourselves. I kept feeling watched, even when I wasn't at school. And Miss K, she acted completely normal. In class, she smiled, joked, taught like nothing had happened. But every time her eyes landed on me, it was like she was reminding me without words. I'm still here. I still know. I started to dread school, dread home, dread everything. Then, the next extreme event hit. It was late at night. I had just finished brushing my teeth when I walked past my brother's room. His door was open a crack, the light still on. I peeked in, expecting to see him on his phone, but what I saw made my heart stop. His laptop was open on his desk, and on the screen was the same folder. The same one with my name. Only now it had doubled. 2 folders sat side by side. One with my name, and one with his. I pushed the door open wider, my voice shaking. Do you see this? He spun around, eyes wide. What? I pointed, he looked, and his face drained of all color. Then, right in front of us, his folder opened on its own. File after file began filling the screen, screenshots of his texts, his emails, even photos from his camera roll. And at the very top of the folder, a new file appeared, the title flashing in bold letters. You can't hide from me. My brother and I couldn't move. We just stared at the screen as file after file poured into the new folder with his name on it. It was like the computer was alive, breathing in front of us, exposing every corner of his life. He slammed the lid shut, but the image was burned into our heads. Her voice, her reach, spreading from me to him. This is insane, he whispered, running his hands through his hair. How is she doing this? I couldn't answer. My chest was so tight I could barely breathe. It's not just me anymore, I said softly. She's coming for you too. That was the low. That deep sinking moment when we realized it wasn't just one of us being targeted. She wanted both of us. The next morning we confronted our parents again. My brother slammed his phone down on the table, showing them his own screenshots. Do you believe us now? Do you see it's not just her being strict? She's in our lives. She's everywhere. My mom looked like she might cry. My dad, though, just shook his head. This doesn't make sense. Teachers don't do things like this. My brother snapped. Open your eyes. She has photos of us. She's threatening us. What more do you need? But my dad wouldn't budge. He muttered something about hackers again, about kids exaggerating. He told us not to spread stories that could ruin someone's career. That cut deeper than I thought it would. Ruin her career? What about her ruining our lives? I left the table before I said something I couldn't take back. At school, Miss K acted the same. Smiling, friendly, pretending. But I knew she knew. And worse, I knew she liked it. Every glance, every smirk, every time her gaze lingered a second too long. It was like she was feeding on my fear. But she slipped. Just once. As I walked out of class, she leaned close enough that no one else could hear and whispered, "Tell your brother I said hello." My stomach dropped straight through the floor. That night, my brother and I sat in his room, both of us terrified to even open our laptops. We talked about going to the police ourselves, about skipping our parents entirely. But then my brother asked the question that froze us both. What if she's listening right now? We both went quiet, eyes flicking to his phone, to my laptop, even to the corners of the ceiling. Could she be watching us even here, in our own house? And then, the next extreme event came crashing down. Around midnight, I woke up to a sound, a faint ping. I reached for my phone, thinking it was a text, but the screen was blank. The ping came again, this time from my laptop. I sat up, staring. the screen lit up on its own. A video window opened. And before I could even scream, the video played. It was me, sleeping. The camera angle was from the corner of my own room. And then, a second later, my brother's face appeared, also sleeping, filmed from his room. Both of us, recorded, in real time. The text beneath the video read, "You're mine now." I couldn't even scream. My throat locked up as I stared at the glowing screen, the live video of me in my bed, my brother in his. The words, "You're mine now," sat underneath like a death sentence. I jumped up and yanked my curtains shut, my hands shaking so bad I nearly tore them from the wall. My brother burst into my room a second later, his eyes wide and wild. "You got it too?" he gasped. I nodded, unable to speak. He saw the video still playing and slammed the laptop shut. Then he grabbed mine, his, and shoved them both into his backpack like they were infected. He said, "We're going to the police right now. I don't care what mom and dad say. This is stalking. This is criminal." For the first time, I thought maybe we'd actually be safe. Maybe if we told the right people, showed them the evidence, we could finally end this nightmare. The low came when we told our parents we were leaving. My mom begged us not to go in the middle of the night, saying it would look bad that we were overreacting. My dad tried to physically block the door, muttering that we'd ruin everything if we went to the police. My brother shoved past him. "She's already ruined everything," he shouted, "and you're letting her." That cracked something in my mom. She started crying, saying she didn't know what to do, that she just wanted it all to stop. But we didn't stop. We left. At the police station, we laid everything out. The texts, the files, the photos, the videos. My brother did most of the talking while I sat shaking in the chair, feeling like I might throw up. The officer's face shifted as he scrolled through the evidence. First confusion, then disbelief, then something harder. He nodded slowly, then said, "This isn't the first complaint we've had about her." My stomach turned to ice. Not the first. He didn't explain. He just told us that they'd take it from here, that we should go home and stay safe, that they'd handle it. But safe? How could we possibly feel safe now? The next extreme event came faster than either of us could have imagined. The following day, Miss K wasn't at school. Her class was covered by a substitute. Whispers flew through the halls like wildfire. Some kids said she was sick, others said she'd been arrested. I wanted to believe she was gone for good, that the nightmare was over. But when I got home, there was a package sitting on the front step. No return address, just my name, written in messy black marker. My hands shook as I carried it inside. My brother hovered behind me as I tore it open. Inside was a single item, a photo of me and my brother sitting at the police station the night before. And scrawled across the bottom in red ink were 3 words. "You betrayed me." A week passed. No more packages, no more files, no more late night messages. For the first time in months, I almost felt like I could breathe again. My parents acted like nothing had happened. My brother tried to distract me with jokes, and the house felt normal. But one night, as I was brushing my teeth, I noticed something strange in the bathroom mirror. A faint red dot glowing on the glass. I leaned closer. It wasn't a crack. It wasn't dirt. It was a reflection from a tiny black lens buried deep in the corner of the ceiling. I froze, the toothbrush slipping from my hand, because suddenly I realized it was never just the laptops. It was the house, the walls, the mirrors, all of it. And then, right as I stumbled back, the bathroom light flickered, and my phone buzzed with a new message. One word: smile.